Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Gaming News, where we discuss all things within the gaming industry. And today, we only have two topics because one is clearly a bit larger than the other, but I'm also operating on a bit of a time limit. Now, there is news that Ninja has decided to hang up his spurs for a while, so he is no longer partnered with Twitch and basically seemed to have disabled his account from my understanding, and has also, I believe, done the same on YouTube. I'm not sure what the situation is. It seems kind of convenient that both things sort of went down at the same time. I will look more into it later and possibly report on it next week, but I will include some links down below after the fact if you're interested in seeing the news as it develops. So we are September 1st, and we are going to get started with the first topic. And today, the first topic is a video game called Brok, the Investigator. And it's actually really clever. And there has been some coverage of this so far, but there haven't been more reviews or anything to come out of it. And I'm actually really interested to get my hands on this game. One, to review it, but two, because it just looks like a really good time. However, the reason why we're talking about Brok by COWCAT Games, this game is obviously a bit of a detective. It's a 2D sort of side-scrolling point-and-click kind of deal, and it just looks like a lot of fun. Now, this came to light because the developers decided to tweet about this massive issue going on Steam. And this is probably one of the reasons why I rail a little bit against Steam, because while many people use the platform, it does not mean it is the best out there. That's not to say that GOG, Epic, Origin, or any of the other sites aren't valuable in some kind of way, but Steam does some things and doesn't curate some things that maybe they really should. And so we're gonna start with the article published a couple of days ago. And the article is from PC Gamer, that developer suspects negative Steam reviews were written by vengeful scammers. So, indie beat-em-up game Brok the Investigator, released this week on Steam, wasn't on my radar until its official Twitter account pointed out something strange about the reviews coming in from Steam curators. Basically, COWCAT claimed that there were fraudulent curators who wrote bogus reviews after not even playing the game, and they go into detail explaining what that is. So this is the thread of Brok and Steam curators, and he talks about how it is being mass targeted by Steam curated by sending out negative reviews. And he shows a bunch of screenshots illustrating that not recommended, but recommended, recommended, recommended. Here's another one, not recommended, 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 recommended. Another one, not recommended, 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 recommended. And again, we're seeing a lot of this tank mechanic too. You know, this one, not recommended, 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 seen before, seen before. So he's pointing out here that obviously this makes no sense whatsoever. The player reviews are 100% positive, but the gaming site reviews are also excellent, and it's the Steam curators that are all rating it negatively. So what happened? And he suspects that all of these are scammers who got angry at him for some reason. And so he showed a screenshot of emails that he's received about his game, probably curators who negatively reviewed the game. You know, and he's now talking about scammy streamers and curators basically vote bombing or review bombing a game for whatever reason. So he decided he was going to stop this nonsense, and he would send copies of the game that were sort of like prologue keys instead of full versions, which he talks about in this tweet here. In order to separate the few legit ones to the fake ones, I started sending them free prologue keys instead of full versions. And the reason for that was to stop those keys from going onto sites like G2A and all of the other like terrible sites that just sell these keys, but without actually having permission by the developer to distribute these keys to them, right? So with Steam keys, it's impossible to distinguish them before activating the key onto the account. So I figured the legit ones would come back to me asking why they were sent a prologue key, and very few actually did, confirming that most of these emails are from scammers who didn't even activate those keys on their accounts before posting a review, meaning they didn't even play the game. So, his theory is that the scammers started selling those keys on gray sites like Kinguin, Gamivo, which I didn't even know about, and G2A, and are now getting angry clients coming back at them. So it actually worked amazingly well. And he's like, I can't exactly prove it, but I don't see any other reason why my game would be the one targeted like this. And you check some of the curators, it is the only one in the list that received negative reviews, and everything else was fine. Now, I don't know if maybe people were privy to information about maybe some of the developers individually and decided to bomb the game, or maybe there's some kind of vendetta because they snited them for whatever reason. I don't know the situation here. It could just be they're being jackasses and feel like, oh, well, you're an indie dev, so nobody's going to notice, right? A lot of the reviews are 100% fake because he only sent a prologue key. They couldn't even play the full game. And yet he was surprised. Somehow these curators were able to post reviews of the game on the full version page. And why Steam allows this in the first place is beyond any of us. And he doesn't know if they have an impact on sales, but frankly, he doesn't care. So, he's saying don't buy keys off of gray sites, which, if you've been paying attention to gaming news, not just my stuff, but other people within the gaming industry, a lot of them will tell you steer clear of G2A, steer clear of Kinguin, and I am of the same mindset. Do not, in any way, give these people money. It's a very bad thing to work with something like G2A or Kinguin. Do not do it. There's countless videos and articles talking about the topic if you want to go take a look at that. 100% go check that out. And Total Biscuit did put out a video several years ago before he passed away talking about what G2A actually does, the business practices at the time, and I am in agreement with him on that, where just it is a bad idea to go with G2A. Just to be clear, this thread had an update recently, and the update is I was informed that the curators involved have been removed by Steam, and somehow I feel just slightly guilty over it. Now, personally, I don't think he should feel guilty over taking down these particular companies, but it just goes to show you that you speak up, you make enough of a ruffle about an issue, and things will happen. And I wish to God that Steam actually curated content and actually paid attention to the games that go onto their platform, and that they pay attention to curators and whatnot. Like, nobody really pays attention to curators anymore because a lot of them are just bullshit. They don't actually link to reviews. The metrics show more with actual reviews as opposed to these curated groups of people. But poor COWCAT, getting screwed over for no reason whatsoever initially, but they really did get the last laugh here. And I'm glad that some of these curators were taken down by Steam, and that Steam decided to actually do something, but only after enough of a scuff was made over the topic. So I don't know. I'm really interested in the game because it looks fun. I mean, it's an alligator and he's an investigator. Like, it screams I should play this game, so I really want to. So I will leave that there, but I want your thoughts on Steam curation, what you think about that topic, and we're going to move on to the next topic. Unfortunately, the next topic is not the most fantastic. You may have seen a video in particular pop up on YouTube, and if you have not seen this video pop up on YouTube prior to now, it will be linked below. You can watch the full video and any of the other videos that I link regarding this topic. And this is the video. This is a creator who is incredibly popular. This particular video has 7.1 million views from the 24th, and I'm glad a lot of other big-name YouTubers also decided to talk about some of the issues that he has stated in this video, and it is talking about racism and favoritism that potentially is going on with YouTube, and it's not a good thing. So this is Corey X Kenshin, and he's got 14.3 million subscribers, so obviously a big name YouTuber. And he talks about how YouTube decided to put an age restriction on one of his game playthroughs. I believe it was Mortuary Assistant. And obviously, if you're working in a morgue, you're going to be seeing naked and dead bodies, right? And it is just to show you the process, as far as I know, of what you do in the morgue and how you prepare a person for their final resting place, either in the grave or whether they're cremated. There's a lot of different things related to working in a morgue that you may or may not think about. If you are curious about that, I do follow a YouTube channel of a woman who does work in a morgue and can answer any and all of your weird, strange death questions. It's fascinating and also weirdly disturbing at the same time, depending on what side of the fence you sit. Regardless, that game can be a little graphic. It is a bit more of a horror game, and he specializes in horror titles. And he talks about how his video got an age restriction. Mortuary Assistant, the game, became hugely popular across a number of YouTubers. And a number of those YouTubers, like Markiplier, went out there and put their videos up on the game. Now, the difference is that Markiplier did not end up getting an age restriction on his video, but this gentleman did. So, it was noticed and brought forward by Jacksepticeye and a bunch of other people talking about YouTube having this big issue, how creators on the platform are not all treated equally. And this is a very bad thing. In fact, this topic became a much bigger issue because even people like Philip DeFranco, that's a beautiful shot to stop on, talk about this particular issue and why a lot of people were furious about it. So Corey went out and talked about, why is my video age restricted, but all of these other people have put up their videos and they don't have any age restriction. He showed screenshots, he talked to his representative, and what YouTube did was put an age restriction on Markiplier's video. And he was like, that wasn't the point. It wasn't go and age restrict. It was, why did you only restrict my video in the first place? So, as I said, go and check out the video. It is really interesting to see what actually happened there. But ultimately, I think they dropped the age restriction on all of the videos, or at least they sort of dealt with it. But a lot of people are still upset about it because obviously places like Kotaku decided to write about it. The black horror game YouTuber Corey X Kenshin has everyone debating platform racism and favoritism. And this is a great screenshot from the video, but it just goes to show you that if you're a big name YouTuber, you have to be certain people, and I guess it also means you have to be a particular race, and that is not cool. I come from a place of privilege. I am not a big name YouTuber. I'm not even a big name Twitch streamer either. But this is kind of disgusting, YouTube. What are you doing? Like, I get you want to automate the process. I understand that there are millions of YouTube videos going up every single second of every single day across the world, and it is incredibly difficult to moderate that kind of volume. But you're talking about one of the big name streamers. You should be paying more attention to what's going on. In fact, not only did Kotaku cover this, but so did Sportskita, and this is an incredibly terrifying article when you look at the entire thing, where it not only talks about the starting point of it, but then also showing the history of YouTube and other content that they've suppressed. They go into detail about other Twitter users that have talked about it. They go into detail about other YouTubers that have talked about this particular issue. It is very widespread, and it is uncool. I'm sorry, like, YouTube, you're a great platform, but you're not without your own issues, and this, I think, is a very big issue. We have seen multiple times how different platforms get completely lambasted by the community, the general community of the internet, by saying you need to treat your black creators better. And I agree. You should not age restrict one video and then let everybody else who's white get a free pass. That is not cool. Stop it, YouTube. We're tired of bullshit like this. You need to find a better way to curate content on YouTube than by using the stupid automated process and then not give anybody a way to actually talk when there is an issue. Get with the program. Anyways, that is all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for being part of the Patreon. I appreciate everything that all of you do for me. Don't forget to follow me on all social media. And with that, you have a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.